Hi everyone, this is Lori Theriot from Work It, and tonight we're going to be talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, which is a topic of goals. So I'm excited to share with you my viewpoints on setting goals and achieving them. And before we start, I just wanted to let everyone know that they can hear some of the previous podcasts all on my website at www.workitcareers.com, and all those can be heard at your convenience. So, hello, everybody. I, first of all, want to say that I have met the most incredible people over the last 4.5 years, and helping them set goals for themselves has been such a rewarding part of my life. So, in establishing, a career plan, goals become part of that, obviously, but explaining to students what the definition of a short term goal, which includes stepping stones, and long term goals, and eventually lifetime goals. So, having them understand each one of those phases as you achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve has been such a rewarding part of my life. So, when we talk about short term goals, those are goals that might take a few days to accomplish, up to a few months to accomplish. So we want to keep that in mind as you're planning goals. Without goals, it's hard to focus. It's hard to focus. So we want to be able to help you better understand how you can achieve things from those goals in a few days so that you can see results. That's important. So short-term goals are just as important as long-term goals. Long-term goals are usually 6 months and longer, so a few years, up to a few years. So you need to give yourself time, but you don't want to lose focus. So those short-term goals eventually lead to your long-term goal. So it's one of the things that I capture in a Work It career planning session. So just to give you an idea of what goes on, or what has resulted in many of the sessions, as I follow up with the students and find out how they're doing on their short-term and long-term goals, I find that many students have increased focus, reduced stress, because many adults come to me with a lot of stress because they're in the wrong job. I have college students, young adults that come to me that, definitely think that the job that they're in is the wrong job, but then they find out that they're also in the bad relationship, the wrong relationship. So they understand themselves, and then they gain clarity on who should be in their life. So some of those stepping stones may involve, eliminating somebody from your life so that your stress is reduced. Hoping for something to happen in the future versus establishing goals and actions to make it happen. There's a big difference there. We have a lot of friends and family that say, "Oh, I hope one day to do this," or "I hope this will happen to me." There's a big difference when you can actually make a plan to actually make it happen. So that's the kind of service that Work It offers, is takes the hope and help it become a reality. It gives you a sense of purpose of life. And these goals are created from your heart. It's like we find what your passion is so that goals can be established for you. So it's a beautiful thing once your voice speaks your passion. It's a lot easier to make stepping stone and short-term and long-term goals with that. So that's one of the things that I'm able to pull out of people, is what their passions are. So when you achieve a stepping stone goal, and that could take a couple of days, the important thing to remember is that you need to celebrate those wins. A lot of people are brainwashed to believe that you should only celebrate at the very end. Too soon to celebrate. We hear that a lot, especially sports. So we want to make sure that my viewpoint, obviously the podcast today, my viewpoint is being heard, but it's important to celebrate those little wins, because those little wins, as you get more little wins, lead to that big win. So it's important to just hear what I'm saying, that how you can celebrate. It's something that is enjoyable for you, and it doesn't need to cost a lot of money, but take the time to celebrate those little wins. With the goals that you're achieving, you find that you now have direction to your destination. And in my sessions, those goals that you're creating, those steps, are definitely leading you to your destination. And you're focusing on what's important to you, and you're achieving personal satisfaction. There's nothing better than that. So, in my last podcast for this series, I'm really plugging the fact that career planning, career coaching for all ages, is so critical. We all talk about that favorite sports coach that you had as a teenager or a middle school student, but then that coach kind of leaves once college starts or once work life starts. So this program that Work It offers is really having a career coach that you can lean on for life. As you decide that a job is necessary to change, or you're ready for that next step in your 7-step plan, or you need a resume updated. So it's really giving you the opportunity to also network with like-minded people, because the Work It database has like-minded people to you. So it's really an awareness of a program that doesn't exist anywhere else. Guidance counselors and career and sports coaches disappear once high school is over. That you're not really invited back in to seek advice. And if every child did that, guidance would be even more overwhelmed than they already are. So, having a career coach is something that I want to get the word out, that it's just as important as having all those other coaches that you had as you were growing up. So, with all that said, we now know that goals are very important to set no matter what age you are, having those short term goals and long term goals. So, in the end, you want results. Schools want results, parents want results, and students want results that are benefiting them. So, some of the results that I've seen over the last 4.5 years have been very positive. Even though this sounds like a negative thing, it does result in breakups because people are with the wrong people. So, that's an awakening. Once you realize that this person is going to stress you out for a long time, and that's not somebody that you want to live with, it's time to go. So that's a result that takes place. Job resignations. You're in the wrong job, and you realize it in this career planning session that you're in the wrong job. So, I can say that many people have given a resignation and received new job offers that are more aligned to their passion in the last 4.5 years. So that's changing things for families. It's changing things for employers, because more than likely they were a hard to manage employee to begin with because they were not happy in their job. So it's actually a good thing. It's a win-win. Better communication at home. That's important, because if your child is 10 years old, it's going to be a long, drawn out period of 8 years before you can get them to graduate. If you can get them to graduate, if they're not communicating at home. So, better attendance in school. What does that mean? It makes the school happy, that's for sure. But it also makes the parents happy, because the child wants to be in school, because they've now been guided to select classes that are more intriguing to them, more exciting. And their grades are automatically getting better because they're studying things that are important to where they're going in their future. And that's a win-win from a lot of angles. So one thing that I talk to the students a lot about is one-sided relationships. And we hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's been my friend since kindergarten or first grade." And then all of a sudden in high school something shifts. And that's okay, because it could be a relationship that was needed for a certain period of time, and now it's not needed. Maybe the path that you both are taking are just completely different, and you wouldn't be able to support each other. But removing those one-sided relationships from your life is something that you need to do that health checkup at the end of the year. So important. I tell the students that they need to check in with their contacts and really give them a score as to, would they be there for you as much as you've been there for them. So you take a whole year's worth of activity and ask yourself that, because you don't want a lot of one-sided relationships in your life, because at age 50, you look back and go, why am I still friends with that person? Because you just keep getting burned. So just definitely something to train students on when they're younger. And I guess the last thing that I want to bring up as far as results is this program creates legacies. Legacies are created through passion and through purpose. So I really want parents out there to understand that the Work It program is much more than finding your dream job. It's also giving you confidence to live your life to its fullest and understanding what personalities are going to actually motivate you as you get older. So I want to put that out there as a plug for Work It, and know that career coaching for students and adults is something that I'm very passionate about. And I think the students knowing that they can always come back and get advice and get connected to someone who could open a door for them is something that every parent in America should want for their child. And impressing that on a student, a parent, an administrator, a teacher is what I will spend the rest of my life doing. That it is the cure for many, many things out there. It cures student issues at school. It cures communication issues at home. It helps to cure relationship issues because there's better understanding of yourself. It aligns employers and employees so that there's less stress for either side. It allows students to enjoy school in a different way. It allows them to pick the studies, pick the continuing education that might be needed, and ultimately allows them to say their legacy, talk it out, and create that in the session. So I hope that all of you listening have heard what Work It can do for your family, and there are really no negatives. It's you're walking out of a session with much more clarity than you walked into a session with. So I thank you all for listening, and I hope that you will check out the website, which is workitcareers.com, for more information. And I look forward to working with you and your child at some time in the future. Thank you, everyone.